All right, it says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know and we will get this started. I'll pop the chat out. Got about 100 people waiting, so I do appreciate y'all being here. And sorry for being late, but it's kind of the normal these days, is it not? But looking forward to the race today. Not really sure what to expect fully. This is a very new track, reconfigured. They repaved it. We're in the Super Speedway package, so not a ton of data to roll off with, but should be a fun one to watch at least, and hopefully we can kind of get lucky with our lineups today. But we got the loud and clear from Andre, so appreciate that. I'll go to the top of the chat here and just let everyone roll in, say their hellos, and we will get this going. Going to be a tough week to project. Going to have to get a little bit lucky, but I think what we're going to have to do is try to project what the field's going to do, and we'll get different from there. That's the key to success this weekend, because if anyone tells you they can project what's going to happen today, well, they're lying to you, because that's basically impossible. What's up, Perry? First one here. Great content. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, Perry. Thank you for being here. Good morning, Clint. Nice to have you. What's up, Jay Smokes? Says, Almirola killed me last week. I think fading the top 10 in a hole is going to be optimal. We could see a guy like Dinger creep into the top 10 or something. Good luck this week, my guy. Good luck to you as well. Yeah, Almirola. I mean, fortunately, I did have some pivots there. Guys like Chris Buescher, which reminds me, last week I had takedowns in almost all of my FanDuel contests. Then Harrison Burton ends up wrecking at the end. And still was a great day, but these cautions at the end, man. They never go my way. Still a good day though, but not a fan of these last second cautions. But he says, also, if you would play someone in the top 10, who would it be? Just can't seem to get to anyone from these starting positions. I'm looking mid-teens drivers, higher 20s for the PD available this weekend. So I'm not going full Daytona strategy where I'm just avoiding the top 10, because looking at the sims, normally at Daytona Talladega basically just says to completely fade these guys. And while I do think most of the drivers inside the top 10 are going to be overowned, that does not mean I'm going to completely skip over them. I still think they are playable. Like, for example, at Daytona, if Joey Logano was on the pole, he probably shows in the sims at like 1 to 2% optimal, if that. But he's actually showing around 10% optimal for me. Now, I'm projecting him to be in the teens ownership, maybe close to 20. We'll see how much steam he gets. So I'm going to be underweight on him, but I'm still actually going to get exposure to some of these guys starting inside the top 10, like Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski. I mean, I think all those guys are playable today, but I'm not sure I'm going to get quite to their ownership in tournaments, if that makes sense. So I'm not going full Daytona strategy just because I don't think we have enough data to back up what we should do 100%. So I want to be like full confident in a strategy that I don't think has much backing to it, Because last year we did see both races have a main dominator and they won. And if a guy like Keselowski comes out and leads 80 laps today and wins the race, I want him in my lineup even if he is starting inside the top 10. There's a lot more risk to it. So if you're playing cash games, do not go that route. But in tournaments, I don't hate taking some stabs there. Now, if you're playing single entries, that's a bit much. But once we get to like 20 max, 150 max, that's when I'm starting to get those guys in my lineups. Third long says, how many drivers under 6K do we need in our lineups today? Looking at overall roster construction, I wouldn't say there's a set amount. I don't think pricing matters too much today. If you want to leave 4K on the table, I'm fine with that. Like, there's some lineups where you could have nobody below 6K, but there's some lineups where you can make a full lineup using 6K drivers, if that makes sense. So I don't really think there's an answer to that one. Abe says, anyone like Kyle Busch today? I like Kyle Busch. I mean, I think he's a very similar play to Ross Chastain. I do prefer Ross. But, I mean, they're starting one spot away from each other. I like them both today. Fine plays. Kyle Busch would have won the 500 almost if it wasn't for overtime. Which I know it's a huge if. It happens a lot at these tracks. So, not saying it was a given, but. Good morning, Bull. Got my wrench man here. Alex says, what is the optimal starting position we think? One inside the top 10. I have zero read for this track. I don't really think there's I don't think there's a correct answer for that because we don't have enough data to back this up. I mean, if we're looking at typical super speedway, you would say no, but at Atlanta, it's more of a hybrid, so I think there's a chance we could see a driver or two inside the top 10 that does make the optimal lineup, because if we see the winner inside the top 10, they're more than likely going to be optimal, unless it's like Logano, who doesn't lead a lap until the last lap in the race and wins. But what's up, Obi? Happy fun day, fellas. Let's do it. Should be a fun one. Looking forward to the race. DFS wise, we'll see how it goes. I'm playing a little bit lighter than normal. Didn't do any bets this week. I just don't feel confident in anything. Only a couple drivers showed value in the sims this week, which are on the spreadsheet, but I didn't feel confident enough betting on anybody. Although if you do believe in the Ford speed that we saw in qualifying, they are at plus odds to win this race. I believe Chevy's the favorite, then the Fords are second. So if you're looking for plus odds there in fast cars, I mean, but even then it's like plus 140, which, you know, it's not that amazing. What's up, Galvin? Says good morning, and everyone here. Excited to hear everyone's feedback. Best of luck today, boys. Thank you, Galvin. We're gonna need the luck today. That's for sure. Alex says I made a lineup where my highest starter is at 18 and nobody else inside the top 24. And I don't know how to feel about that. That's fine. So like you mentioned 18, so I'm assuming you have Ross because he's starting at 18th. And then you could go Truex, Suarez, Jones, Dinger, Ty Gibbs. Like that's a perfectly fine lineup. So I wouldn't feel bad about that. Got a donut from my man Clint. Do appreciate it. I'm gonna guess he's mentioning Harvick. He tends to do that. Let me see. Yep. I'm low on Harvick, sadly. Do we have any group settings for the optimizer? 150 mini max. Clint's been killing that mini max every single week, it seems like. So keep it up, Clint. But as far as any groups today, I'm not really confident in having any groups. I mean, if you want to make like one group where you only have one driver inside the top 5, I get that. But even then, I'm not really forcing any groups in today. So I'm just kind of run it and then play with your exposures. Obviously, set your preferred randomness. He says, thanks as always, hit the like button. Yeah, if you could leave a like on your way in, I truly appreciate that. It does go a long way. And appreciate the dono, Clint. But yeah, I'm not that high on Harvick either today. Starting in 6th, I mean, we all loved him last week, and he should have won the race. Harrison Burton, you know, this is what it is. He killed his race. Ended up getting 4 tires instead of 2, which was not the winning strategy. I don't even think he gained a spot after the restarts. But yeah, starting in 6th, it's just hard to get there. I mean, someone played to Keselowski, but I think Keselowski is a much better driver of these track types. So, Matthew says, Chris, speaking of Harvick, actually, if Harvick finishes 1st or 2nd, only leads like 10 to 15 laps, is he optimal? If Harvick wins the race winner is more than likely going to be optimal, unless it's like, again, like a guy like Logano or Cindric who leads like 1 lap and wins the race at the end. That might not be enough dominator points to get them in the optimal, because we're talking like, what, 45 points, and there's a decent chance place differential could outscore those guys. But, I mean, more than likely, I would say the race winner is optimal. Zach says, what's up, CP? Brad K for the win today? I wouldn't be too surprised. Let me check my win percentage. I think he's near the top of the list for me as far as winner in my sims. Can't find the tab. Okay, yeah, here we go. So I got Keselowski. Yeah, a 5.5% win percentage. The books have him at 5.3%, so he was one of the guys that did show some value there. So I wouldn't be too surprised if Kes wins, but and just for reference, I have Kes at 5.5% for the win, which probably doesn't seem that high, but at the same time, the winner I have at 9.4%, so it's not like it's a major difference. What's up, Ryan? Yo, 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 Crystal Man, what's up? So what's the strategy for a weird mini super speedway like today, stack the back? It's going to be a bit of a hybrid today. I mean, I hate to keep saying this, but I don't want to lie to you guys and act like I know there's a 100% set strategy. I'm not really sure there is a complete strategy here. I would build kind of hybrid. Like at Daytona, there's no chance I'm rostering guys inside the top 10 usually. Sometimes they slip in, but I think there's a couple drivers inside the top 10 that are worth playing today. So I would go with a hybrid approach. Like I really like mid-pack here, like Ross Chastain, Kyle Busch. The problem is they're going to have high ownership, but I do think they're pretty solid place today, better than they would be at Daytona. I'm kind of avoiding the absolute scrub drivers. Like at Daytona, for example, I had like 20%, 20 something, like 25% Riley Herb, something like that, 20% Cody Ware. That's not going to be the case today. I mean, I'm talking single digit ownership on those drivers because I'm not sure we're going to see like half the field get crushed today. So a bit of a hybrid approach. I mean, super speedway for the most part in your roster construction, but at the same time, I want to filter in some drivers starting closer to the front that I think can win this race. Got a dono from my man Jorge here. Do appreciate that. It says top 3 drivers and which drivers would you avoid today? Thanks for the content. I mean, projection-wise, top 3 drivers, it's guys like Ross Chastain, Martin Truex, Denny Hamlin's also up there. He has a little bit more risk starting in 15th, but those are like projection-wise, pretty much some of the best plays today. And drivers I would avoid, I can tell you the ones that are like worst in my leverage scores right now in the Sims, and that would be Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, Noah Gregson were the guys that grade out the worst in the in the sim scores today. Not a ton of terrible leverage plays, like the worst one's at 6.4%. And if you guys are Patreon members, I do the ownership projections on that sim sheet. I do an update after this live show, so they might change a little bit. So it's not set in stone completely yet. I feel like my ownership on AJ Allmendinger might be a little bit too low in the projection, so I think that might get up to a little bit, but I'll rerun the sims and they'll be there. But I do appreciate the dono, Jorge. Thank you very much. Got a dono from a man, Choke Hold'em. Appreciate that. Says, good morning, Chris. Good morning to you as well, sir. Spending all out cash today. Stacking in the back. Any Dom rules? Thank you, sir. Yeah, cash. I don't really love cash today. I mean, if I am playing cash, I'm okay with like one driver in like that Kyle Busch, Ross Chastain range. You don't have to. But if you really feel the need to, I think Ross would be my preferred guy there. And then after that, I'm sticking to like the Truexes, Eric Jones, Daniel Suarez range. Like all those drivers starting closer to the back, but not like the absolute scrubs. And then, so I mean, you're kind of stacking the back, but I'm not saying this is like a full-on stack the back strategy. And as far as dominators are concerned, I don't have any rules for that. So I'm just going to be passing on that. Any rules today. Just exposures, randomness, and things like that. I don't feel confident in any rules, so I don't want to constrict my lineups into something that might not be the best route. Got a donut from my man Mass, didn't say anything with it. But in case he wrote a message down below, I got to give a shout out to my guy Mass. I won the lug nut last week. We had a great week overall last weekend. It seems like a lot of guys had a lot of takedowns. But Mass, the thing about Mass is he does not use the optimizer. He hand builds 150 lineups. I don't know how he does it. And he keeps track of them in his notes page on his phone or whatever. But he's taking down several lug nuts doing it that way. So shout out to Mass did it last week. And it was absolutely awesome to see. I told you I'd get your shout out in there, Mass. I didn't forget. Do appreciate the dono. Oh, where are we at? Got Bob here. Says, any value on an outright winner this week? Thanks. Yeah, not seeing much, Bob. I feel like the Sims have been pretty solid on outrights this year. Like we had Byron at value last week. But this week, I mean, there's only a few drivers that were popping, like Ryan Blaney, Brad Keselowski, Harvick, just some of the Fords for the most part. I think Christopher Bell also showed some value, but it's nothing that I feel super confident in. But I do think Harvick had the most value, if I remember correctly. But this is not a race I'd feel comfortable betting outrights because, the past 2 weeks, I felt pretty good about it because we had a good amount of practice data, but we pretty much knew who was going to be fast. And we saw that the past 2 weeks, the cars we thought were going to be fast were the fastest out there. But this week, it's going to be tougher to project, so I'm not going to force any bets. Sometimes a bet not made is as good as just, could be just as profitable instead of forcing bets, you know what I mean? Ryan says, also, who are the 2 to 4 must-play core drivers for cash games? If you're playing cash today, I think you got to get in Martin Truex Jr. first up. I think Daniel Suarez is also a very good play. Corey LaJoy, Ty Gibbs, those kind of drivers make a lot of sense for cash. See, my mom's here, says hi, but good luck, NASCAR family. Go Logano. I think if Logano wins today, you're not going to have too many happy people here, Mom. People don't want to play the pole sitter, which I agree. I think he's going to be overowned, but he is showing up more optimal than normal for pole sitters at a track like this. I think on FanDuel is a little bit of a different strategy because finishing position is even more important. So I'll probably actually end up having more Logano over on FanDuel today. What's up, Paper? Says, let's get it today. Let's do it. 48 car going for the win. We'll see. Bowman has a history of wrecking at these track types, but we'll see. Good morning, Natalie. Nice of you to be here. Dimitri says, Chris, my wife says L'Oreal Foundation is the answer to your makeup problem. Have to send me a bottle over or whatever it is. Have to go find some so we can get it right. Maybe I can stop being late to the live streams. Good luck to you as well, Carmi. Third long says I don't play cash, but I would think you would start with Byron, Truex, and Gibbs just to guess. Yeah, I wouldn't play Byron in cash today. I know he crushed Atlanta last year, but the problem is starting at 11th at a super speedway in cash games is always going to carry a lot of risk. I agree on the others, though. I mean, Truex, Gibbs are really fine starting points. Yeah, Mama P is in the building. Good morning, C. Mitch. Happy race day to you as well. Hoping for a good one. What's up, Mystery Science Gaming 3000? Hopefully you're doing well. What's up, Obi? Eric says, C-Pen the GOAT. Back at you, Eric. Back at you. I know you had a busy morning, you said, so I'm glad you could make it in. Conscious is on time. Love to see it. Got a dono here from my man Stanley. What's up, Stanley? Says, good morning from California. You're up early for California. We got, what's it, 8:30 over there? Nice for you to be here. Got into NASCAR DFS last year and love it. Yeah, a lot of people say once they give it a chance, they end up liking it a lot. So hopefully we can get some more converters because it's a really fun sport. Says, looking forward to MLB as well. So many different variables. I agree. MLB is coming very soon. What is it, March 30th? 30? That sounds right. March 30th. So sometime, not next week, but the week after that, sometime in the middle of the week, I believe. But love baseball, and it keeps me busy during the week with NASCAR. I mean, I do NBA, but I also hate NBA. It's boring. So really looking forward to baseball. I do appreciate the dono, Stanley. Good morning, Pugsley. Is Bell starting in the rear? Yes. Good question. Bell is starting in the rear, unless something changed with that. But last I saw, Bell was going to the rear, but I don't really care. You know, super speedway, he'll make it up, and not like I care where he is at any point until like the last couple laps anyway. C. Meyer says, rise and shine. Talking about heaters, Chris, my man Chris over there. Been a long time guy over here. He is like, he is killing. He's taking out a contest almost every single day, it seems like, for the past week. So shout out to Chris. Just killing it. Killing it. And that's putting it lightly. Also got another Chris here. Says, what's up, bro? What's up, Chris? Nice of you to be here. Eric says, would your lineup be okay without Brad Keselowski? I mean, you can make lineups without Brad Keselowski today. I'm only going to have, like, in my optimal percentages and my sims, I'm projecting him around, like, 10 to 14% in the optimal. So, I mean, it's not like an all-in situation by any means. So, yeah, you can make a lineup without him. And like I said, if you guys are Patreon members, you're going to see the ownership projections right now. Those are going to update after this live stream. So, I can't imagine anything too drastic is going to change, but there might be some slight tweaks, which will change the leverage scores. Pugsley says, I went with Joey, Ross, Truex, Suarez, Priest, and Gibbs. Very aggressive roster in the Pulsar at a super speedway, but the way this track is, it can work out. We saw it last year with Chase and Ross on the front row, and they both crushed it and were on the optimal. So that's one of those reasons why I'm saying, like, this isn't full Daytona strategy. Like, those things can happen at Atlanta. It's a little bit different racing. So it can work out. It can. Good morning, Aaron. Good morning to you as well, Ben. Good morning to you, Rick, as well. Goose says, how's it going, Chris? Larson or Byron? It's going well, Goose. Larson or Byron? Ooh, I'd go Byron there in that situation. Just a better plate racer. Ryan says, oh, what's up, Ryan? We have a long history from the YMCA back in middle school for me. Nice to see you here, though. Not a NASCAR guy, but figured I'd stop by and say good work, brother. Happy to see you finding success. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that, and I've enjoyed our many years of playing basketball together. Those are really good times. I miss them, but nice of you to stop by. Randy says, hey, Chris, how about a video for the DraftKings MLB Best Ball contest? Appreciate your content. Look, I'm going to be having those search those kind of videos up. I'm not much into best ball. I'm trying to get into it. I did it for the playoffs in the NFL. I was heavy on the 49ers. Obviously, Brock Purdy losing his arm wasn't that ideal. But I'm going to get into best ball for baseball. I'm going to do some drafts, actually, I think this upcoming week. So I don't have enough knowledge to give content on it. So I'm going to be watching the same videos you're probably watching, to be honest. Because I lived in Ohio, and you can't do best ball there. Well, I mean, I think you can now. But when I lived there, you couldn't. So I just never was able to get into it. But I'm looking forward to this season. It should be fun. You know, partners with Underdog now, so going to be entering some contests over there. And if you want to get your toes wet, just some practice. I think they have like a $3 3 max they're doing besides their big contest. So Timothy says, I finished 5th place and won $5K at the Engineer 2 weeks ago. 2 $15 lineups and I won $5,000. Thanks for all your help. It's awesome, Timothy. That was awesome. Keep it up. You love to hear that stuff. Especially with 2 $15 lineups. That's great. What's up, Conscious? Says Truex Jr. Yeah, he's going to be chalky today. I'm projecting him to be the highest owned driver. So, I mean, it's hard not to like him. If you're playing cash games, yes. The thing is, though, if you're in tournaments, the ownership's going to be really high. And, you know, if you think this turns into a wreck fest, I'd be careful with the ownership there. Because there's very similar plays. Like, Eric Jones could easily be a better play than Truex, and he's not going to be as high owned. If that makes sense. What's up, Aaron? Nice of you to join us. Jim says, hi, Chris. Enter a NASCAR contest. Won a Joey Logano shirt and a hat. That's awesome, Jim. What kind of contest was that? I wouldn't mind a free shirt somewhere. What's up, Bonnie? Says, good morning, everyone. Chris, how many drivers would you play in the top 12? 1 to 2, or is 2 too many? I think 2 is fine. Like, if you wanted to go Keselowski and... I'm trying to think of an example here. I'm looking at the order right now, actually. So if you want to go like Bell and Keselowski, that's fine. Bell, Harvick, Briscoe, Buescher. I think 2 is fine. 3 might be pushing it, though. Ryan says, Chris, fast me late today. Always. If you're on time, you're too early, in my books. Did you fastly park your car at the start-finish line and walk here? That was awesome. Like, I don't watch Xfinity, but I saw the clip of Josh Williams yesterday. They told him to park it because of debris, and they just parked it on the start-finish line, walked off. I think he gave the deuces, and they asked, I think he said, what are they going to do, fine me? I can't afford it anyway. So that was awesome. I guess he has to be my new favorite Xfinity driver now, I guess, right? Got done it from a man, Geb. Appreciate that. It says you should get your shingles vaccination. That's a Discord joke. Something with Denny Hamlin. I think it was a sponsor last week or something like that. Where are we at? I lost my spot. I apologize. Hit the over on me, so I lost my spot in chat. It's always a guarantee. See, Stanley says, weeks like this is why I like NASCAR DFS so unpredictable. Yeah, it's the fun part. You know, the whole point of the game this week is trying to figure out what's the field going to do, what's the probability that happens, and then get different there. You know, I said this Daytona, but we're playing a math game today. You know, all the higher owned drivers at Daytona, I want to get away from those guys. I want to play the lone guys in the back, and that was a winning strategy at Daytona. I'm not sure it's going to be like exactly like that this week because I think the carnage will certainly be less. But again, we're playing a math game today. See, Miss Julian is here. Good morning, handsome. Appreciate that. She was helping me get ready, so hopefully she did a good job. Happy race day, everyone. Effie says, or Rick says, bull with the wrench. You know he likes to flex it. You know it. Rowdy or Bell season? I'm fine with both, Eric. Busch is a better play, just starting 7 spots further back, but I think Bell is a sneaky play in tournaments. He actually showed up in the optimal way more than I thought. He is going to have to go to the rear to start the race, but it'll be fine. Yeah, the one thing I am worried about today is the penalties because, you know, they redid the entry in pit road, and I just feel like that's going to cause some issues, so that'll be fun. I feel like Ty Gibbs is a lock for a penalty today. I think he gets a penalty every single week. Yep, Julio's up. Hockey Freak Sean says I'm playing on a 3 max. Yeah, I'll be doing a 3 max as well today. They're always a bit tough on this kind of track because it's like, well, I hate all the plays. I like some of the plays, and it's just tough. Abe says, do you prefer Byron over Busch in cash? I do not. I'll just take the extra PD. Like, yeah, Byron crushed this race last year, but you know, anybody can wreck. I'll just take the extra PD there, and both are excellent drivers. And Busch was awesome at Daytona. Would you limit yourself to only one driver inside the top 10? I think a couple is... you're pushing it. Like, I wouldn't play Joey and Cindric together. Absolutely not. But, like, a Keselowski with a Bell is fine. Keselowski with a Byron. They can work. Good morning to you as well, Joshua. Since we're using government names today. I'm playing in 3 max, 1 driver to lock and 1 driver under 8K. I mean, if I'm forced to lock a driver, I think the safest option might be Truex there. That's expensive. And then 1 driver under 8K. Well, projection-wise, first driver under 8K would be Daniel Suarez. So we'll go there. PJ says, I don't know what I did wrong. Took your advice, I thought, but last week was not good for me. I don't know. I think everyone pretty much had a pretty good week. I mean, maybe Almirola got you, but you know, there was definitely some pretty good pivots from there in tournaments that I like to get to. I thought it was an overall really good week last week. Big Otter says, anything good on prize picks? Not really. I hate all the props this week. Although I did do one prop. Let me see if it changed. And look, I don't feel comfortable with any of these props, but I wanted to get some action down. So I did Stenhouse under 41.5. I think we're talking like a top 13 for that. Seemed a bit high for Super Speedway. I know he won the last one, but. And then I took the over on Ryan Blaney laps at 18.5. Fords look fast. I think Penske will probably dominate the early portion of this race. Joey is, yes, in the best position to do that, but I think Blaney can get up front at some point. So that's the only ones I liked. Everything else was a bit rough. If you want to take another step, another one, Tyler Reddick at 4.5 PD. You could take the under. He has a history of wrecking at these. Again, that is a lot luck-based, but I don't know. I just hate the props this week. Got done it from Chokehold again. Says, what is the most cash you would leave on the table? Well, let me pop up the optimizer here. We're going to run 150, and we're going to see what the lowest would be. Now, that's not like a set mark, but I think it would give us a decent idea. Just going to plug 30% randomness on that. 150. We'll let that generate, and I'll get back to that. We do appreciate the dono, sir. John says, Bell wins today. Mark it down. He shows positive value in my sims. I wouldn't be opposed to it. It'd make me look good on that part. I don't mind him in tournaments either. All right, so we got the crunch to go. Lowest amount of salary used was 47.3. That's on a projection basis, so I think you can go lower than that. Like if you're hand building, I mean, you could stick to all 6K drivers if you think there's gonna be mass carnage. So I'm fine with leaving several thousand on the table. Trouble says, can't wait to donate this week. Expect the wreck fest or hard to pass bottom like truck race. Yeah, no, right? It's gonna be tough. I'm gonna be building some lineups with mass carnage. I'll be building some lineups where nothing happens and kind of in between there, you know. It's gonna be tough. Hello, Steven. Bugsley says, I'm contemplating swapping Truex out for Bowman. Thoughts? You just really gotta hope Bowman doesn't wreck, to be honest. If Bowman doesn't wreck, he'll probably be like a top 8 contender. But that's really all it comes down to. He's gonna have less ownership, but Truex will project a lot better. Dave says over 220 watching, 42 likes, hit the like button. Yeah, if you get the like, do appreciate that. It goes a long way. Joshua says, are Ross any cash viable, or would you go with Eric Jones and Bubba? I do like Ross today. I think he's certainly cash viable. Denny, you're pushing it. He was in a similar spot last year, I think, at Atlanta in high ownership, and he ended up wrecking. So if you wanted to pair like Ross with like a Jones, I'm fine with that. I think that might, because I don't think salary should be an issue. If it is an issue, though, I'd probably go the Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace route in that one. But if you can make a Ross and Jones work together, I'd feel good about that. I mean, not Jones. Well, he was too, but Ross was so good at the Supers last year. And in Atlanta, he got up front in both races and finished very, very well. Race Fan 22 says, I think Blaney wins and leads a good amount of laps. I wouldn't be totally surprised with that. I mean, we know Blaney and Joey are... I mean, they're probably going to have the best cars today. It's just a matter of how long can they stay up front. I mean, Ford looked so good in qualifying. And if you guys remember the dual race, was it the first dual race where Joey and Blaney were the two main doms and they finished up front? Although I think Blaney ended up finishing third. Someone passed them at the end. Was it Bell? I don't remember. I just remember Joey and Blaney were the two guys that got up front. SNR says, stacking the back with Busch and Bubba top 5 today. Good luck, everyone. It's possible. I don't have a problem with that. Good luck to you as well, SNR. Jim says, Chris, how do you feel about Truex? Stenhouse, Chastain, and Blaney. What other two drivers would you use? Well, since you have Blaney, I wouldn't go anybody else closer to the front. That's your one guy up front. I would say... I don't know how much money you have left. I'm just going to guess. But guys like Gibbs, Eric Jones, those are fine drivers to get to. Emery says, what are your top leverage scores for each starting tier? Well, I'm not going to give all that out. Got to leave something for the members on there. Convicted says, Busch, Truex, Jones, Dinger, Burton, Byron. I kind of like this one. Thoughts? Hair on point? Always got to be, right? But let's see. It's a fine tournament lineup because, you know, Busch and Byron starting mid-pack. Does have some risk there, but everything else looks pretty good, Convicted, so I'm okay with that. I see Coach got his wrench, and he finally woke up. So Good morning, finally. But I did not remove the wrench yet, so you still got it unless you abuse your powers. Good morning, Carmi. Does Kyle Busch no crew chief affect anything for you? No, I mean Hendricks without all theirs too. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Sam says single entry Blaney, Hamlin, Bubba, Truex, Gibbs, LaJoy. It can work. Again, if you're rostering someone inside the top 5 today, you basically need them to win. So just know that. But I don't think that's a bad lineup. Chokeholm says, I mean, are we spending all of our cash or leaving a lot on the table? I don't play cash. I mean, you can, there's many ways to go today. You can max out your salary. You can use a little bit of salary left over, or you can leave a lot of money on the table. I mean, I think any is fine. It just depends on the build you're looking for. But I mean, there's several routes you can go. I don't think there's a specific answer for that. Because I think one of the Atlanta races, the optimal was a 50K flat. I think. Yes, coach got the wrench, Rick. He does. Someone's got to tell me if he's abusing his power, though. A little bit scary with him with the wrench. Albert says, I got Byron, Chastain, Truex, Stonehouse, LaJoy, and McDowell for GBP. Seems like a good mix of chalk and contrarian. Yeah, that's fine. Honestly, though, I think like the only low-end guy you'll have there is McDowell, but overall, I think it'll work. He's got to avoid Rex. Philip says, Buescher, Keselowski. I think Keselowski's got better like winning chances there, so I'll go with Keselowski. Appreciate you, Sarugi. Thank you. Top pay-up guy on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Top pay-up guy. So if we're talking like 10K up, so we're talking about, I would say Chastain on both sites probably. I like Chastain a lot today. If he wrecks, I'm sorry. You know, it is what it is. But if he doesn't wreck, I mean, he should be a top 5 contender. Robert says, Polster led 98 laps last time at Atlanta and went on to win the race. That is correct. Mr. Chase Elliott, who unfortunately is no longer with us. Sean says, how do you feel about Busch, Chastain, Truex, Jones, and Suarez and Cash on FanDuel? I think that's like the lineup I hand built, and it might be my projection optimal. Maybe. I do like it though. Let me check. Because you can make some pretty good lineups over on FanDuel. The lineups that are on FanDuel are always really fun to make. I can't find my entries. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, you plug in Ross, you plug in Busch, plug in Truex. Where's Eric Jones? Where's Eric Jones? Okay, so that's not the exact lineup I was thinking. I think actually it's about Wallace over Eric Jones, maybe? No, it's Eric Jones over Suarez. Either way. Yes, I don't think that looks bad. Also got another member, Matthew. Do appreciate you signing up over on the Patreon. Thank you very much. Also got Converse over there as well. So thank you for signing up. Just getting emails here. All right. Anyway. Steve said, oh, yeah, I do think that's fine cash lineup over on FanDuel. Steve says, Truex or Hamlin, most trust for single entry GPP. I would say Truex. I mean, he's starting double the spots further back, so I would just take Truex there. Aaron says, 11 days until MLB opening day, March 30th. I can't wait. I love baseball. Love baseball. It's always a fun time. It's a tough sport, but you gotta embrace the variance. Almost every day is Daytona in baseball. Denny says, got a solid base of 4 and have 21,400 left. Which drivers would you advise taking? So that's what, like $10,000-ish on each? I mean, I have no idea who you have, but guys like Ross, Truex, Busch, all look fine to me. Good afternoon and good luck today in DraftKings. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to you as well. Wallace or Reddick on DraftKings single entry? I'd go with Wallace, just really get the super speedways. Reddick hasn't had the best history. Nate says, fade Ricky. I'm not sure I'd fade Ricky. He's in a good spot. Starting all the way back in 27th, he's pretty cheap. Is showing positive leverage for me. But again, I am going to update the ownership later on, so he might end up being higher owned, which the leverage might drop a little bit, but I don't think he's a bad play. DD says, how many Doms are we rostering today, Captain? I'm not specifically rostering Doms today. I don't think anyone should have like a Dominator group. It's just whatever gets thrown in. Like, sure, you can play Blenny today, but I'm not really classifying anybody as a Dominator. If that makes sense. Not one of those weeks. Demetrius says, good morning. What settings do you recommend for DraftKings and FanDuel? Unique, randomness, and min salary? Thanks. I mean, if you want to have like 1 to 2 uniques, I'm fine with that. 30% randomness. If you want to up that to 50% because it's Atlanta, go for it. My projections are also very conservative, so it's got a lot of randomness baked in already. So I'm probably going to stick to like 30%. But no groups for me. And then min salary, we can go all the way down. Really, I mean, I don't think there's a min salary you need to use today. But you're welcome. Jake says, I hate Ty Gibbs so far this season. He has crashed a few of my lineups. Mine already. Yeah, he's not been having a great season so far. That's for sure. He was better last year. Just not having a fun time. Jordan says, who's my favorite Dom? I'm not like playing Doms today. My highest Dom percentage guy is Logano. And then I think it's Blaney Byron. But I'm not playing anybody as a Dom today. In the general sense, like last week, Doms like Larson, Byron, those are dominators. Today, I don't think we're gonna see, because you can't rack up fast laps like you normally can because they're drafting. Like I think I was looking last year, and the guy with the most fast laps in this race was like Ross with 10. So you just can't project fast laps. Doug says AJ or Stenhouse last piece in cash. Stenhouse scares me. I'd probably go Dinger to be honest. And is 7 to 7.5K left over okay in cash today? I have to see your lineup, but I don't think it's terrible. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably guys like Truex, Dinger, LaJoy, Gibbs, Jones maybe. Like something like that, which I guess is all right. Hamlin or Bush? I'll go with Bush. Eddie says best high price guy and best value play on FanDuel. I like Ross a lot today. And then value-wise on FanDuel, I mean, you don't usually have to get too low on FanDuel. I mean, guys like Eric Jones and Daniel Suarez are good values over there. Okay, so I'm looking to get a Finney Racing World Championship seat. I have 1 bullet in the 111. Wish me luck. Good luck, okay? You're probably going to have to fade chalk and, take a contest, so good luck to you. Not having Truex would be a decent way to get different, but it's also scary at the same time. Comrade says last week was simple. Lock Larson and profit. Exactly. Overload on Larson and Byron, and you were well on your way to a good day in Harvick as well. I mean, those are the guys I was super high on and ended up working out pretty well. Where are we at? You're welcome, Hockey Freak. Answer my question. Yeah, no problem at all. I'll answer any question you guys got. Well, almost any question. DD says Almirola is a new Ricky Spinhouse. Yeah, he is, honestly. He really is. Might have to get the new nickname for Almirola there. Chris Davis says, which 2 for cash? Bush, Chastain, Allmendinger, and Jones? Oh, that's tough. I mean, Dinger and Jones are really the safest options there. But if you want to play an expensive guy, I would go Ross. But Dinger and Jones are definitely safer. Josh Berry. I don't have much Josh Berry. I think the Sims like him around 10% maybe. Let me check. Yeah, 9.3% optimal for Josh Berry. Like, he's just kind of a gross play for where he's starting. I like Justin Haley a little bit more, but he's okay. I'm not going my way to play Josh Berry though. Bull says don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate that, Bull. Love Ross and Dinger today. I do as well, Andre. I think they're really good plays. Kyle says, love the show, Chris. Thank you, Kyle. Chastain, Blaney, Keselowski, Suarez, LaJoy, Gibbs in tournaments. So if you're playing Blaney and Keselowski together, they basically have to finish 1-2. Just know that. And the chances of that happening are probably sub 5%. But if you want to be super aggressive, you do have a lot of place differential to make up for it. So I'm all right with it. But again, it's very risky. See, Austin says, contest full yet? Oh yeah, we gotta probably post the link there. If I can find it. For some reason, the $1.99 donos never show up. I don't see them until I scroll down. But I see Sniper Kitty says something about the Denny Hamlin vaccine again. So there we have it. I don't know why they don't show up though. I'm not ignoring them. Gotta stay. Sure do. Alright, lost my spot. Thoughts on Cindric? Tough to get to. I mean, Cindric to be a top 6 scorer today basically has to win. I know someone was telling me in the comments that, you know, if they finish like 7th, that's not a terrible day at their price point, which is true. But at the same time, these super speedways, it's really all just about having the top 6 scores. And if you finish the 7th today, it's just not going to be a top 6 score. That's going to be impossible. Cliff says, most of my builds are 2 towards the front and 4 in the back. Do you think this is the chalky build and would you pivot off? That's all right. I'm okay with having 2 guys towards the front for tournaments. Cody Ware expected ownership, low single digits. I don't think anyone's really going to play Cody Ware today. If you're going to be overweight on Cody Ware, I mean, you can play like 5-6% and you'll be like double the field probably. How much is the group contest? I think it's $3. $3 to join. Leverage play, you were highest on. Chalky player most likely to fade. Well, let me check my highest leverage right now. Dinger, Priest, Jones are popping quite a bit there in leverage. Again, I do have to update the ownership. Might change a little bit, but probably nothing too crazy. Oh, what was the rest? Chalky player most likely to fade. Probably Byron. I mean, I like Byron today, but if the ownership's going to get close to 30%, I'm going to be underweight on that. I'd rather play Bush and Chastain. Not to say I don't like him, but... And Denny Hamlin, I mean, they're showing a little bit close to the front for where I think their ownership could get to. Could have done it from Mangeb again. Last 2 for single to GPP, Stenhouse, LaJoy, or Dinger. Probably going LaJoy or Dinger there. I mean... You know, Stenhouse won the last one. It's just hard to see him doing so well again with this history of crashing at these tracks. We'll see what happens, but I don't know if we'll see lightning strike twice again in a row. Concha says, Logano, Hamlin, Truex are my initial stance for my 3-entry max. Not all 3 lineups, maybe 2. It's aggressive on Joey and Hamlin, but it can certainly work. They're 2 of the better drivers of these track types. Sorry, I gotta text about a bet here. I guess there's a boost on the FanDuel Sportsbook. It's Kyle Larson, Joey, or Kyle Busch to win the Better Health 400. That's at plus 280. That's not okay. Well, it's at plus 400. Those odds kind of suck. I would not do that. Hockey says, sounds like a chance today, like a casual winning. Good. Really good. Timothy says, is Hamlin in cash too risky, even given the unknown factors of this race? I don't think he can get there in cash. I mean, I would just much rather play Ross or Bush. They get you a couple more place differential spots if you can afford them. I mean, if Denny Hamlin's like the last guy you can fit, sure. But I'll take the couple extra spots with Bush or Ross, even Bubba Wallace in 19th. Shelton says, whoever narcs somebody gets the ban. Aaron says, infill last 2 for DK cash, 17.4 left for the last 2, 8,700 average. Have Truex and Ross in already with Gibbs and Suarez. If you have 8,700 left on average for cash, who do you have? Okay, I'd probably play Jones. And I guess Dinger for cash. I mean, it's probably, or Dinger, I'd pick 2 of either Dinger, LaJoy, and Jones. No problem, Choke. No problem. What do you think of Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Cody Ware, BJ McLeod? I gotta be honest, I don't really like it. I don't really like the 2 scrubs. If this was Daytona, maybe, but even then you have Larson and Harvick inside the top 10. It's not my favorite roster construction. Cameron says, what do the ownership projections look like for Burt and Allmendinger today? I think they could be interesting low-tier pivots today. Yeah, I don't really think Dinger's going to be a pivot play. He's going to have some decent ownership. I mean, right now I had him in the mid-20s, I think. If I can find him. So right now I have him in the low 20s. I could actually see that getting up to the mid-20s. Maybe higher. We'll see. As for Harrison Burton, I have him in the upper teens. Just because I think more ownership will go to guys like LaJoy and Allmendinger, who are also pretty cheap. Anthony says, I'm curious, on average, how many lineups do you enter per week? Just depends. I'll do 150 max contests. I'll do 20 max contests. I'll do 3 max. I'll do single entry. So, I mean, really just all kinds. Jalen says, Gibbs lock. I wouldn't say a lock, but he's a good play in the back. I forgot to mention Ty Gibbs. I was talking about cheap drivers too. Yeah, Ty Gibbs as well as back there. He's just so cheap, you almost forget he's down there sometimes. I mean, he's priced down with the LaJoys of the world, which I did not think was going to be the case heading into the year. But, I mean, I get it at this point. Coach says, see Penn State's all projections are fire. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. I feel like I can get pictures pretty well. But, yeah, I can't wait for baseball. Yeah, Kyle Busch certainly has a shot. He's fast at intermediates typically, and he's really fast at Daytona and the dual race. So wouldn't be surprised if he can get a front. RC says, which 3 drivers do you think will be the most over-owned to pivot off of? Over-owned? My most over-owned drivers right now, like Larson, Blaney, Logano, Briscoe, those kind of just guys starting in the top 10 basically are all over-owned for me. These people are going to play Larson today. I mean, you know, the field's getting smarter. I'm just not sure how many people are going to be like, well, they're going to know too much about how Atlanta has changed. Things like that, especially with how well he ran last week. So I think he'll be over-owned. Gillen and Burton are good pivots. Yeah, they're going to be lower owned than like the Gibbs, the Dingers, the LaJoys of the world down low. And they have similar upside. Nick says, what chat is he reading from? Is he talking to the YouTube chat? Yeah, always. I answer every single question here. I'm going top to bottom. I'm not skipping around. So I'm always a little bit delayed. Pugsley donated. Again, I apologize. I do not see the $1.99s. They just don't show up until I scroll down. Do you prefer Suarez or Jones today in the DraftKings tourney? Jones will probably be lower owned than Suarez, so I'll say him. Overall, the projections like Suarez, but just ownership-wise, I would go Eric Jones there. I'm sorry, I don't know why the $1.99s did not show up. I apologize. Everything else will show up. I don't know what it is. Brian says, it's silly to roster both Blaney and Logano in a single entry. I wouldn't do that in a single entry, personally. I think even one's a bit risky. Not a bit risky, it is risky. So I'd probably stick to 1 there. You think Ross can win? For sure. For sure. Why is Dinger and Jones safer? They offer you a lot more place difference upside. So let's say there's a lot of wrecks today. I mean, they just have a better safety net for where they're starting. Like if a guy like Byron wrecks out early on, I'm not saying there's guaranteed mass carnage today, but let's just say, for example, Byron, happens to wreck out. I mean, we're talking like negative 20, 30 points there. Meanwhile, Dinger, Jones wrecks out somewhat early and they finish like 31st. You're only losing a few points there. Who will be last? Whoever wrecks first? I don't know. If no one wrecked today, I would say BJ McLeod probably, but I'd love to know who would wreck first. That'd be great to know. Fight Steven says, leaving lots of salary on the table. There's some lineups where you can do not like any money left on the table, some with a little bit, some with a lot. Many ways you can go today. There's not a set strat. I'll be covering all of my bases there. Mari Donyezy says, if Ford wins the race, it's possible. They're really fast today. I mean, the top 8 spots in qualifying were Fords. Logano, Cindric, Blaney, Keselowski, Almirola, Harvick, Buescher, Briscoe. Then Larson and Bell ruined the party there. But they're fast. I think it's like plus 140 for them to win the race on FanDuel. Rick says, I have Byron, Blaney, Chastain, Suarez, and Burton on FanDuel. What you think? I'm in a private contest with around 10 people in it. Yeah, FanDuel scoring is a little bit different, so I don't mind these mid-pack drivers or guys starting closer to the front. over there. I mean, they're definitely more in play, in my opinion. That's all right. Burton. Yeah, he's all right over on fans. I don't know. I feel like there might be a better play you can get to than Burton. But if he's like all the money you have left, it's fine. Also, good morning to you as well, sir. John says Chastain and Byron are good. They are pretty good. I can't argue that. Can't argue that. Good morning, Tito. Nice of you to show up. Tito with the wrench, you know it. I'm playing a 20 team on DraftKings. My one lineup has Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex, Cody Ware. I already answered that one. Any left for Buescher today? Gonna take him my one and done. DFS wise, not a ton of interest in Buescher, but if it's like for a different kind of contest, I don't think like a super speedway. It's not a bad track for Buescher. I wouldn't hate it. MSH says Byron, Chastain, Wallace, Suarez, and Jones. That looks like a FanDuel lineup with 5. I don't think it's a bad lineup. Larson and Kyle are solid. They're definitely solid drivers. I can't argue that one. What's up, Spread? Nice of you to wake up today. See, that donkey says, just not going to watch the driver by driver breakdown, but saw you were live. I want to say thank you for all you do. Appreciate that, sir. Appreciate that. Enjoy the video. Hopefully it doesn't suck too bad. Trouble says, appreciate the odds boost heads. I donated $15 to that because... Oh. Thanks for the stream and slight feedback. Yeah, no problem at all, Trouble. No problem at all. See, Austin says, second shift this year now. See you on the Discord. Good luck, everybody. Thank you for filling in, Coach. It's appreciated. Brett says, how many drivers in the top 15? Is that a bad move? I'm fine with that. I mean, if this is like a super speed race and we see carnage, you're not going to want anyone in the top 15 usually. So that's okay. Bull says, time to build for F1. Yeah, F1's in about an hour, is it not? I'm not playing it, but I'll watch you guys tilt during the race while I build my lineups. I bet on F1 qualifying yesterday. It was so close. I think I was like 0.5 starting position off. But I bet on the NASCAR qualifying too, and I hit, which was fun. I had the Cindric under 17.5 on Prize Picks and Hamlin over 7.5. So if you guys are ever bored and you have some money you want to throw away, because you should not expect the profit from that, Prize Picks does offer starting position props. So I'm 1 for 1 on that. I might just retire now, going out on top on the qualifying bets. Where are we at? Is Barry race 3 and the 9 getting too far off the path of place differential plays? He's in play. I mean, I got him optimal around 10% of the time. So he's not the worst play ever out there. He's in a good car, obviously. We'll see how he does in his first super speedway though in the next gen. Effie says, Rick, keep calling you Effie. It's funny with the wrench, you know it. Hockey says, fading Kyle Busch in a 3 max stupid move. I mean, there's definitely other plays you can get to. I wouldn't say it's stupid. He could easily wreck. Like at Daytona, when he was starting, wasn't he like 35th or something? I don't know, whatever it was. It was a great play the entire race. But guess what? He wrecks at the end. So being underweight was a good move. Wallace, yeah, I like Bubba today. I haven't got a lot of Bubba questions, which I usually do at these tracks. But starting at 19th, at that price point on DraftKings, I like him a lot. Got a donut from Pugsley. Appreciate it. Says, there's something telling me to take Buescher today, but Chris says otherwise. What do I do? The Sims say Buescher's optimal 8.5% of the time, Pugsley. 8.5% is what the Sims like Buescher to be optimal today. So I think his ownership's going to be somewhat similar to that. So take it for what it is. I'll have some Buescher exposure. I'm just talking like single entry 3 max. I'm not going to get to him. Tom says, what do you think of Blaney, Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs, Bob Wallace, and Eric Jones? I mean, you got 2 guys in the top 10, which is aggressive, but both those drivers could finish in the top 5. Obviously, Blaney could win this race. He's my projected winner of this race, actually. So, yeah, I don't think that's a bad lineup. Pro Reactor says, how much carnage do you think happened today? It's a great question. Great question. We don't have a ton of data. So, we lost 12 cars in the first race last year, 11 cars in the second race last year as well. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I mean, I think we're going to see some wrecks for sure. But it would not surprise me if they race clean the majority of this race and maybe nothing happens until like the last few laps, or maybe just at the end of the stages. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you I know what's going to happen today. I mean, we're in the dark. We have limited data. The only thing we can do is really look at ownership and try to base it off of that. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like 10 cars gone. I think that's like a fair number. Got a donut from Man Spread. Do appreciate that. That's 500 likes for the 6-piece special starts now. Go. I don't think we'll ever get 500. Maybe for a Daytona, but do appreciate that spread. Thank you very much. Yeah, no problem, Pugsley. Boss Hog says, what about going with all the drivers with the last name starting with a B? I guess. So that would be Blaney, Busher, Briscoe, Bell, Byron, Bowman. Is that it? Or Kyle Busch as well. We're at 7 now. Barry's at 8. Burton. I guess they're fine. I don't know. That's what you want to do today. Go for it. Maybe a takedown contest. G. Bilbit says, is Mark Martin a good play today? Yeah, I like Mark Martin a lot. Greg Biffle, Jeb Burton, all those guys are great plays today. Darrell Waltrip. Mike, to hit the likes, please. Appreciate that, Mike. Bodie says, whoever I had the most exposure to will wreck out first, just like Omarola last week. Probably. That's how it works. That's how it goes. Tom says, or Bell, Chastain, Stenhouse, Wallace, Eric Jones, and Suarez. I like that one better, Tom. I like that one better. Big Willie says, what's up, Chris? What's up to you, Big Willie? Hope you have a great day. Let's go racing. Thank you. Hope you do as well. And hoping for a fun race today. Hoping for a fun race. The best thing to do today is probably not to look at your lineups until the end. I mean, at some point, you're probably going to be taking down the contest. At some point, you're going to be losing everything. Just going to be random today. Spread up the link to the contest. If you guys do want to join, you can hit that link. It's not spam, I promise. And it'll take you right there. You like Harrison Burton at all? Yeah, he's okay. I mean, I got him optimal around 20-ish% of the time. It's not a bad mark for him. What do you think of Almirola? Starting a little bit too far up for me. Starting in 5th, you basically need him to win, just about. Maybe finish 2nd. Maybe that gets him there. It's possible, but I've only got him optimal under 10% of the time. Last man in Reddick or Wallace. I'll take Bubba, just a better Super Speedway driver. 2 must-haves in GPP and cash on DraftKings. I wouldn't say there's a must in GPP today. Again, guys, this is a random race. If this is a short flat track like last week, we can project that out pretty well. This week, good luck. In tournaments, though, I mean, I like Eric Jones a lot. Ross Chastain, Wallace, those kind of guys. But cash, Ty Gibbs, Truex, Daniel Suarez, all those guys are really good for cash. Corey LaJoy. We got 375 in here for Atlanta. That's awesome. Appreciate y'all stopping by. I thought it'd be a little bit of a lower stream today, especially with March Madness on, but do appreciate y'all being here. Hopefully your brackets are doing well too. I know, but a lot of bracket busters, that's for sure. I'm looking at her pool right now. My girlfriend's winning. I don't know how she does it, but Jolly says, which drivers has the best lane assignments? I mean, basically how they qualify is the guys are going to have typically the best pit stalls. Bob usually posts the exact chart if you want. But I mean, obviously Joey in the pole, he's going to be in the best position and from someone down. Hit the like button for the optimal. Yeah. Hit the like button, increases your chances of being optimal today. Thoughts on Kyle Busch, Ross, Gibbs, Dinger, Suarez, Truex for DK Cash? It's okay. 2 guys in the top 20 is a little bit risky for cash, but if I was going to pick 2 big name drivers for cash games, it would be Kyle Busch and Ross. So, but I love the rest. I mean, it's great. Wallace. Yes, I like Wallace today. I think he's certainly in play. Bush, Ross, Bell, the Joyce, the Stinger. What you think for tournaments? That works. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's just tough today, guys. Like, you can tell me your lineup. It looked good on paper, but it's just all about, you know, are they going to wreck or not? I don't know. I don't know. That's all it comes down to. Kyle says, how high are you on Denny Hamlin? I'm going to be underweight on Denny today. I think for where he's starting, we'll see. I mean, my optimal percentages do like him, and they're kind of on par with the field, but I still think he might just be a bit overowned starting in 15th. One driver on... Oh, by the way, I do have him optimal around close to 30% of the time. One driver on DK under $6,800. Well, under $6,800. And the first guy there that's going to pop is going to be pretty much Stenhouse. Would you rush a Truex in a single entry? I know he's chalky. It depends. Is the rest of your lineup chalky? If it is, I would not play Truex. If you're very contrarian on everybody else, I'd probably play Truex. So it just depends on the rest. But I have no problem at all fading Truex thing in single entry. I mean, for Daytona, I know this isn't quite Daytona by any means, but I avoided Kyle Busch. I avoided Jimmy Johnson in my single entry contest, and they ended up wrecking at the end. So you definitely had some nice leverage there. They were crushing you, though. I mean, they were absolutely... If you didn't have them, you were dead for like 90% of the race, but in the end, it worked out. What's up, Pete? How about some carnage on the like button, people? I like that. Yeah, let's get the like button some carnage. I was just making a B lineup funny. Someone commented that on my video last week, and someone got really mad about it for some reason. It was like, shows me you don't know anything about NASCAR. I was like, what are you talking about? Aaron says, LaJoy and Haley are great pivots off of Gibbs. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Justin Haley's not going to have much ownership at all today. He's a really good Super Studio driver. Cal says, Greg Biffle. Yeah. I was just thinking of any old driver I could think of. Pugsley says, my money's on Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett. For sure. Love their paint schemes this week, too. You're welcome, sir. Love those 90s racers. Kyle says, my dad has a huge Mark Martin collection worth thousands. Awesome. That's awesome, Kyle. If you're on Twitter, you have to send me a picture of it. I like seeing the die-cast and stuff. I gotta stop shaking the table. It's moving the camera. It's probably giving you guys a seizure or something. Doug says, Cash, Chastain, Suarez, Truex, Eric Jones, AJ Allmendinger, and Corey LaJoy. That can work. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Yeah, I think he was on a... Wasn't he on the... Was it Dale Jr. download recently? Is that what it was? But yeah, he was great. Woody for the win says, if playing a 3 max, do you keep the player pool tight and swap 2 guys per lap or make them as different as possible? So if it's like a really predictable track, I will go very similar and swap out a couple guys here and there. Like last week, you have a lineup with Almirola, you take him out, you have a lineup with Busher, and so on, because you feel comfortable with your dominators. This is one of those weeks where I think you can just go 3 completely different lineups, to be honest. Like one completely fading the chalk, one with some chalk, and then one chalky. That might be a decent route to go. Is your contest full? I don't believe so. I'm pretty bad at promoting things. But Spread dropped the link in the chat if you want to join. How long have we been live? Just over an hour. We were going 2 hours at the start of the season. I've cut it down a little bit. Yeah, it's been over an hour. Fairleigh Dixon plus 800 easy. Yeah, that was a fun one to see. I was driving and I got the notification that Purdue lost. I was like, oh my gosh, again? You are winning. Now, your max points isn't great, but you are in the lead right now. Problem is, you had Purdue and Arizona going a little far. How's Ty Gibbs? He's going to be really chalky in the back. I mean, unless he wrecks out immediately, he's going to offer you some good place differential today. What's a good GPP play? I think Bubba Wallace. It's a fine GPP play today, starting mid-pack, but good super speeder driver. Hello, Mom. It did go through, But once again, I'll say hi. Do appreciate you being here. Do it for Byron or Bush. I'll take Bush there. Just some extra PD spots. Daniel Suarez or Eric Jones. If it's cash, Suarez. If it's tournaments, I'll go Jones there. Appreciate that, Pugsley. Appreciate that. I don't think it's a bad looking lineup. Did I catch up to the chat? Oh my goodness. Only took me an hour and 10 minutes. If you guys have any last second questions, I'll gladly take them. But if not, I can let you guys scoot. But this has definitely been a fun stream. Looking forward to the race today. We got nearly 400 people here. So I don't want to cut y'all off. So again, if you have any last second questions, put them in the chat. I'll answer them. But if not, we can start building lineups, which is something I have to do. Eat some lunch. I don't know what March Madness game is on now. We can watch that. F1's coming on at 1 o'clock, I believe. So. This is, okay, got a couple more messages here. De Palma got here way too late this morning. Thoughts on Priest? No problem at all. Better late than never. Just kind of before I got off. But Ryan Priest, I think he's a fine play today. He's starting in 24th. I mean, he's going to be optimal. Man, I'm not saying these are like the absolute 100% what's going to happen numbers, but I got him optimal over 20% of the time. Actually, one of the better leverage plays. So, yeah, I think Ryan Priest is a fine play. And at 20 max, how many lines would you have Truex, Stenhouse, and Suarez in? Together? I don't know the exact number I'd have together, but I'm probably not going more than 40-ish% on Truex and a 20 max. Priest or Dinger? I'll go with Dinger. Conscious says, man, I'm watching you on TV with surround sound. Thought someone was outside. Nope, but your glass hitting the tape. Is it that loud? I apologize. I didn't know my mic was that good at picking it up. There, I did a little bit lighter. JJ Marsh says, good to see you, bro. My question is, who do you think we need to find value below 6K? Good to see you as well, JJ. Below 6K, I mean, Ty Gibbs, he's going to be the obvious option there. Harrison Burton are like the two that will stand out the most. Ryan says, who's the first X out for GPP? For GPP, I mean, I don't have much of like Briscoe or Austin Dillon, to be honest. I hate to X anybody out for this race, you know what I mean? Just because we don't know. But like leverage scores, hate Dillon, Larson, Gregson, Briscoe. Conscious hit the like button. Well, I think we're done here. I think we're caught up. I do appreciate everyone stopping by. Again, I'll have all the projections stuff updated on Patreon. I'm going to run some new ownership projections right after I get off of here. I'm going to start building. So those will be updated shortly after we hop off here for all the members on there. Says I meant more along the lines of numbers of lines they're in for Stenhouse and Eric Jones, not together. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. I'm probably not going to go more than 40% on any of those guys, to be honest. That's what you're asking. Brett says, who's lower owned, Reddick or Bubba? Reddick should be lower owned. I think more people know Bubba's a better super speedway driver. Yeah, for sure. No problem, Conscious. All right, but I'm going to get out of here, guys. Leave a like on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Wish you all the best of luck, and because we're going to need it today. Very random race. But I'll get out of here and see ya. I think we're at Coda next week, so